Hello and welcome along to Adobe Muse Basics with your host Robert Smith. In this part 3 of creating a menu driven scrolling technique, we're going to add just a little bit of finesse to it. Now what we're about to do is probably one of the trickiest things that Adobe's done for a while. We're going to try and make our background scroll at a different speed to the actual images themselves. And how we do that takes a fair while to get your head around how they've done it. So let's have a look. In this video we'll do it very basically, but it will be the subject of a lot of upcoming videos of how to actually put it together. So what I really want to do is I'm going to go to my layers menu and make sure my background's unlocked like that. I'm going to click on my background and go to my scroll effects like this. Now there's a number of different scroll effects we can use. The one we're going to use is this motion one to start off with. So if I click on, make sure that I've got my background selected and click on motion like this, we get a thing called initial motion and final motion and a thing called a key position, which let's just, for the sake of this exercise, because again it's not going to be a massive explanation, let's just set that to 0. And this one here, this first number, let's set that to 0.3 like that, and in the final motion do the same thing. Now let me briefly explain what I've just done. Normally when we scroll with a number of 1. Adobe likes to say that if you have this set to 1, that means it will scroll like it normally scrolls at the same speed, so everything will scroll at the same speed. But if we select an item, which we have, the background here, and said, okay, let's scroll it at 0.3 of the speed. In other words, let's make it scroll slower. Now again, I'm not going to explain exactly how all this works, but if you use these numbers, 0.3 there, make sure this is ticked like that, and make sure this is selected as well, and make that 0.3, and that's 0 like this. I know that's a bit of a cop-out, but it will be explained in detail in some upcoming videos. Okay, so let's just have a look at that. If I go to click preview like this, and as I start to slide, you'll notice now that the background slides at a different speed, and this is the beginning of what we like to call the parallax look, where things slide at different speeds like that. Okay, let's go to design view. Let's preview that in a browser and see what it looks like. If we slide that, you'll notice it's probably more obvious here on this big screen that the background is sliding at a different speed, and that's what it's all about. And that's the look du jour, or look of the day. It's very popular and very fashionable to have websites that do this, do scrolling techniques like that. And we just added that little bit of finesse to our simple menu driven scrolling. Again, all I simply did was click on the background layer like that, open up my scroll effects from here, click on motion, and I used these figures here without much explanation. As long as you use those figures, you can always change these if you want to be a bit faster. Anything up to 1 will be slower than the actual normal scrolling. Anything over 1 will be faster. Have a bit of a play around with that, and I'll see you in the next series of videos.